Oh, the weather outside is frightful.
But inside is so delightful.
It's Christmas in July.
Let's review.
Let's review.
Let's review.
What a trend.
Season 10.
Bum.
Bum. All right. That is right, everybody. Christmas in July has wrapped up. It's been 10 years. Oh my God. I can't even contemplate that. So tonight we're kind of taking an animated Batcave approach to our selection this evening, or at the very least, kind of dipping our toe into that kind of an approach. Because Dragon, you're all caught up on Ted Lasso, everyone's favorite Apple TV Plus original. I am not. I would like to be, but for really frustrating reasons that I don't feel like reiterating right now, I am not. And I really physically can't be unless I pirate it. Thanks, Apple. But I digress, Dragon. This definitely seems like a show that I would enjoy. Especially because of that, I've definitely heard that it goes pretty deep into panic attacks and the nature of those. And so it's like by that very nature, I'm very interested in that side of the show for sure. I don't have any like concrete spoilers for that side of the show. I just know that that's one of the big dramatic points of the show. So I'm diving into this thing in a Christmas special format. This is the first exposure I really have ever had to any of these characters, really. And this is this was between seasons 1 and 2, I want to say. Am I right on that?
Well, this is in season 2, so I mean, here's the thing: the Christmas episode is in season 2, so this is kind of like a companion piece to that. So like, it's so basically you're in season 2 probably like I forget if it's the penultimate episode, but either 2 episodes before the last episode or the penultimate. So it's in season 2. That's all you need.
Gotcha. This is just like a little thing they put on YouTube. It's basically just like a Ted Lasso promotion. It's as far as I know, it's just kind of like looks like it's a little taste of the characters. I gotta tell you, Dragon, I don't know. This was fun. I don't necessarily think this sells me on the show as much as I wanted it to. Like, don't get me wrong, it's not bad or by any means, but besides Roy Kent, who I kind of vaguely have an awareness of, we'll kind of get into him. I really had a hard time kind of like concretely sort of getting a feel for many of these characters. We'll see. I mean, a lot of them, obviously, they're just very surface level. You only got 4 minutes to build them out.
There's only so much you can do, Tiki.
I guess the stupid thing that I was kind of like expecting from this short, and I don't know why I was expecting it, is for some reason I was expecting sentient Mustache.
Well, that would just be silly, Tiki.
I know. But I don't know. I like the premise of this. I like the premise of this thing because obviously the character does have a very, iconic piece of facial hair. But I feel like this thing's just all right. I mean, honestly, I feel like if this, like, I really do like the animation style. I probably would have been more into it if it was just a full 22-minute episode. Because as it stands now, Dragon, I don't know. This might have been an awkward place to put the finale, just because at the end of the day, it really does kind of feel like just a little bit of promotional material. And I don't know. I feel like our selection this year is honestly like we tried to kind of tie everything back into previous years, but between Arrow kind of having very little to do with Christmas. I don't know. This has been kind of a wonky year, but let's break this down, though. I just don't really know how much I can add to this.
Anyway, yeah, I thought this was a delightful little short. It's a little spin-off of so Ted Lasso season 2 had a Christmas episode, a full-on Christmas episode, which is really good. And the opening of that had like a little stop motion version of the opening, which is also in this when they do like all of them go into the seats and everything. And basically, it's like, what do we turn that into a little bit of a short, which they did. Yeah, so I mean, Ted Lasso is a show in general. The season, this and the season two is in 2021. Ted Lasso is very much, the smash hit of the pandemic, where everyone was looking for something to watch. So, 2020 rolls around, Ted Lasso's there, cheer everyone up, and just kind of caught him like wildfire from there. Yeah, so yeah, I mean, I have a lot of love for the Ted Lasso show, and I love the fact you don't even have to be a sports fan to really get into it. Just the fact that, like, it's not about football or soccer or whatever persuasion you are on that, depending on which corner of the globe you're from. Uh, you don't need to know anything at all. It's about the people, And
Mhm.
I think this is kind of a nice little kind of caricature. Basically, it's a cutesy little caricature piece of these beloved characters, and kind of putting you in a very just kind of cutesy little kind of story animated via the Rankin Bass style. It's kind of nice.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's just kind of like it gives you a little bit of a taste of the characters.
Yeah.
I don't like, honestly, Dragon. This is gonna sound super nitpicky, but like even an 11-minute short, like it just as it stands now, this thing is just kind of like, okay, conflict is introduced, and then they talk about the conflict, and then the conflict is resolved. Like it just doesn't have a lot of substance to it. I guess is sort of I don't know. It's kind of like in that weird halfway point. It's almost kind of like it's not as commercial as this is, but it's kind of like in that weird in between vibe that that one ET commercial kind of represents, where it could almost be its own standalone thing, but at the same time, it kind of feels like this just exists for promotional purposes. I don't know. Let's see. Richard's Victims is here. He says, my TV show hot take. Ted Lasso is a show I like but don't love. I get why people like it, but I think it's just okay.
When you look back on Ted Lasso, the first season was always the strongest, and then the other two seasons were like still good, but just not as groundbreaking as the first season.
Ted Lasso's job is less football and more just sports.
Hmm.
So he's not a so much like Ken isn't a lifeguard, he just does beach. Ted Lasso just does sports.
I guess that's a way of looking at it. The point, yeah, that's the thing. Ted Lasso, he doesn't. He's not good at. Again, he's an American football coach. So he knows nothing of football, soccer. I think he's very unqualified to teach it, which is kind of the intrinsic premise of the show. Like, oh, we take a football coach and we make him another kind of football coach. Yeah, okay.
I got to admit that premise, just how you set it up on its face, does sound really dumb and like definitely not like something I would be into.
Well, trust me, the actual sell of it is a lot better because there's a reason why that. Again, on its surface, you'd imagine like that. Again, you think it's that when you go into it, like, oh, okay, they went with like a dumb joke sort of like premise, but then you reveal there's a reason why we've gone with this premise, and it's quite interesting.
uh
There's a reason we've gotten someone who's highly unqualified for this job.
All right.
Yeah. So I guess to break it down, so yeah, we have a little stop motion. This is kind of a fun little meta joke here. I think everything else is pretty straightforward. This one's actually one that is in reference to the season at play here. It's kind of a foreshadow, technically. This little stop motion season greeting to Nate. Nate says, like, don't change, Nate. Don't ever change, Nate. And of course, let's just say by the end of season two, Nate changes dramatically. Something big happens with Nate. So that's kind of like a little tip of the hat to, oh wow, Nate really, yeah, really, don't change, Nate. Don't do that.
Right. That's funny.
Yeah. So Roy shows up. Roy Kent, played by the
Now,
one.
talk to me about Roy Kent, Dragon, because I've definitely heard that name before. I think besides Ted Lasso himself, I feel like he's the most memorable character just based on pure pop culture osmosis.
Yeah, he's the Fonz of the show, no question. He's the breakout star. See, Brett Goldstein's one of the writers, and I forget if he's also in the room with the creators, but essentially he's one of the main writers on Ted Lasso. He's to play a character, and he is essentially he was the star player, but he's the eldest member. Again, not old, but just compared to all the other young bucks on the team, he's the most seasoned player of the bunch. So he's
Okay.
Season 2, he goes through a bit of a transition because season 1, he's the star player, is losing his edge. In season 2, we do something really interesting with him, and yeah, so he's a laugh right. You'd love Roy Kent. Everyone loves
I
Roy
mean,
Kent.
just honestly, even from this short, I feel like he clearly steals the show.
There's this really great gag in Ted Lasso where one of my favorites. I forget if it's in season 1 or 2. I think it's in season 1 where the way they sorry, let me put it this way. You know how you have like ice baths for like like wrestlers and football players, and
Sure.
so they have in the UK, I guess, or at least in the locker room here, they have like a little like recycle bin, like a blue kind of trash bin that you they dump all the ice in you get into. So Ted Lasso made this really great comparison for Roy Kent. Where like, oh, he looked like a brunette Oscar the Grouch in that thing.
Oh God.
Because that's essentially he is essentially Oscar the Grouch, Tiki. That's essentially who Roy Kent is.
Oh.
If Oscar the Grouch, curse the blue streak with kind of like I think it's South London, like a South London accent. Like oi, very much that. Anyway, so Roy enters, kind of seeing him animated in a cutesy style is really adorable here. He's just like,
I
well,
love the Christmas bow that is used as his censor bar.
yeah, I know, yeah, it's great. So he says like, well, I promised Keeley, I'd say effing Merry Christmas, and he does. So
So
Merry
Merry effing Christmas.
little ribbon shows up. Yeah. So then Ted Lasso, our merry mustachio, the mustachioed merryman himself, walks on in. He says, "Well, if it isn't, if it isn't Roy Kent, well, jingle my bells if it isn't the great Roy Kent." He shows up, and we kind of frame it so Ted is in the foreground here, and we're seeing him from the back, and we're seeing everyone's horrified reaction to Ted Lasso, which ordinarily no one's ever horrified by Ted because something dramatically is different about our hero. Tiki, what's missing from this fray, from this picture? Even you not
No
having seen the show.
mustache.
No mustache.
And I gotta say, he does look very weird without one. Like even in the very few times that I've actually seen his face.
Yeah.
I mean, that mustache is pretty much like a character in its own right.
So a few things to mention before we get lost in everything here. Had a little Christmas ribbon. We're having a little Christmas greeting. But basically everyone kind of saying that making their
I would
wishes
say
before.
office Christmas party, right?
I mean, I think it's more like like Christmas goodbyes before you break for the holiday. But sure. All right.
There's a little tree, a little office Christmas tree.
Christmas hat. You got the Christmas chains. Like, did we guys call those chains? Okay. Anyway, so his mustache is gone. Bum bum bum. We're doing the Home Alone. Oh, doing the Home Alone pose.
Right.
No.
Richard's victim says Roy is the phase oi personified.
That is true. So we have our opening. Here's the nitpick with Ted Lasso. I do love the show. This Christmas special got something right that the show had never done. They still never did. It always kind of bothered me. We never saw all the other characters like walking in those seats. It was always just empty stadium except for Ed Lasso. Every time it was always like he walks in, he takes a seat, and then we kind of pan around, with them. Here it was like, oh, they're all walking in next to the credits. How nice is that?
I do like the color motif with the green and red chairs on the stadium bleachers.
A little seasonal color. Okay, we have updated Christmas opening.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that is definitely a trope unto itself. Sure.
Oh yeah. All right, let's see. So this gag, this is really funny. This is what I'm talking about the caricature aspect. So we have Jamie Tart. Remember that shark thing I brought up last 2 episodes ago with The Simpsons?
Vaguely.
Remember Baby Shark, Dark?
Yeah.
So again, Jamie, the gag in Ted Lasso is his fans will say, Jamie Tart, Tart.
Oh, okay. Got it.
So this is Jamie. This is Jamie Tart. He's he was the young hotshot who basically succeeded Roy Kent.
He kind of strikes me as the Joey of the crew.
It's about right, if Joe, yeah, he's the dumb guy too. He's the dumb pretty one, So that's the guy here. Says like, Jamie, does someone have a mirror? Here you go, Coach. I always have a mirror. Yeah. So it's the caricature of his kind of his what's not prissy, but his egotistical sort of thing. His vanity. There you go. Van Halen and Jamie Tart there. So, dilemma, holiday dilemma. Our father is going to FaceTime with his son Henry in an hour, but his son won't recognize him without his mustache.
I gotta tell you, I do appreciate that as like a very modern day Christmas dilemma.
Yeah, there you go. We have our Christmas dilemma. We have, I mean, it's kind of something tantamount to an I'll be home for Christmas, and that Ted will be. I mean, they don't really get into it here, but again, Ted kind of Christmas away from the family, a little bit of that, a little bit of that there, kind of subtly with the trope.
I assume that's probably a bigger deal in the actual Christmas episode.
Little bit, yeah.
The
So again, we have kind of Christmas away from the family, and we have kind of like just the stakes of this will ruin Christmas. Rebecca's his boss. She's the blonde lady. Rebecca she's the one who hired him, and again, the whole premise of the show being she hired him for an unscrupulous reason.
Oh God. Okay.
Yeah. So it's really clever, I must say. Anyway, so Rebecca, she's on it. Don't worry, Ted, we're on it. Season 2, they made up and everything. So like season 2, don't worry, Ted, we're on it. So we're gonna split up. And we're gonna find that snot mop. All right, so let's see. So Ted's in the locker room, kind of down on his luck here. He's uh, sorry. Ted's in the locker room. He's looking kind of like, oh man, I really hope they find it. Kind of almost like if Ted Lasso were a kids show. This is the bit where like, oh gee, I hope my friends can bail me out of Dodge kind of moment.
But again, Dragon, this is kind of like we're the short runtime of this, and I understand that they only have so much time, but wish it could have been maybe 10 minutes because it's like they literally like just establish the plot, and now Ted Lasso is already like, oh, woe is me. Like it just feels rushed, I guess.
Well,
Which,
yeah,
yes, I know it's only 4 minutes, but maybe they only had the budget and the time to do something for 4 minutes. I don't know.
that's what I'm saying, Tiki. Yeah.
All right.
All right. So everyone reports in. Rebecca, no luck at the opera house. Jamie says it's not. No, it's not in your car. It's just like, well, Jamie, I don't have the car. It's just like, well, it wasn't in the car. I smashed with a rock. In other words, Tiki, he threw a rock at it.
Yep. I had a feeling that was coming.
All right, so Nate, this is a runner with Nate, mainly through the first season. Nate's what you call a kit man. Now, a kit man, well, in this case, he's a kit man who got promoted to a coach. At this point, he's like an assistant coach to Ted Lasso. The point being, Nate, back in his kit man days, he built these adorable little like suggestion boxes and collection boxes. Like if anyone were gonna like put in money for like to buy someone a gift or something, he'd make these cute little shoe boxes with like little faces on them. So he's made one of those for the mustache. He's made one of these a festive version.
Kind of like a mustache leprechaun trap.
Exactly. So in this case, it's kind of a festive mustache trap box. So it's got crumbs, got a comb, got some dormant, dormant. Sorry, I'm blanking on the thing. Point being, I think it's a thing that would kill hair. It says, Nate, that's a kill trap. Well, yeah, escape Ted's face. Who knows what he'll do next.
Yeah, I don't know what I think it's called pomade. I don't know what that is.
Yeah. Well, I wonder if it's like Nair or something. That's what I.
Yeah, it kind of went over my head. I do like the attracting it with tiny combs and crumbs, though.
Yeah. All right, let's see. So Keely and Rebecca, they attempt to solve the stash dilemma with a pencil stash. Draw a little mustache on. It's just, I don't know. It's a little too Clark Gable and John Waters.
Did you know that John Waters was on The Simpsons?
I mean, it doesn't surprise me, given how at this point, like more than 30 seasons, everyone's been on The Simpsons. So
well, he was on The Simpsons back when it was good, not golden age, but still good.
Was he flamboyant?
He was basically playing himself. Yes.
All right, so that's a firm yes. Then. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's see. So we have the pencil stash going on. So it's a no-go. So then we have Coach Beard's. Coach Beard, he's Ted's right-hand man, bestie. Well, he's the other American of the show. They both flew over in the plane. He actually knows what he's doing in terms of like learning the sport and everything.
Oh, okay.
So Coach Beard also, though, he's a very kind of mysterious kind of sauce, but you got to place things close to the vest, so he's kind of mysterious. So they gave him like, oh, you can use my beard, you can use my disguise kit. And he gives him another beard.
Why do you have a disguise kit? Why don't you?
Yeah. So anyway, so he gives Ted a beard just like his. Well, this is nice, but it kind of defeats the defeats the objective. Outright forgot the objective. Yep, he just rips the beard off. Ah,
And then Roy Kent comes in with a moment of the episode for
yeah, hit him with it.
me. Well, you want to stash, do you? I love how it's not stash, it's tash.
Oh,
I
you
love
want
that
a stash,
British
do you?
distinction.
Want a tash, do you?
So he just rips off his fucking eyebrows.
Yep, his big old eye, his big
Puts him together and just plops him on Ted's face.
Make it a super mustache.
Oh man, I love it.
Oh, look like.
And again, I love the animation, Dragon. That is one of the more fun things that they actually do with the stop motion here.
I got to admit, this whole thing does remind me of, and I don't believe we covered because I think technically it's a Thanksgiving episode. There's this Home Improvement episode in which Tim Allen's character, Tim Taylor, he falls asleep and he imagines all his problem at hand via a stop motion Rankin Bass thing.
Oh God!
And there's like a tool time segment. Basically, it's like Al's a snowman, and he's made of wood, and he basically gives everything away, including his body, because he's like, he's like a fourth wall adjustment of like, yeah, we're made of wood, let's give everything away. Anyway, okay, so but the point being, you could do like silly kind of stuff, like ripping the eyebrows off in that style. Anyway, so I look like Detroit Lions superfan Magnum PI. But it ain't me, Roy. So then it's just like, oh, I'm sorry about your eyebrows, Roy. I don't worry about
Dragon, for some reason, I got the feeling that the phrase "it ain't me, Roy" is like a repeated thing. Is that correct, or am I just totally misreading that?
I mean, Ted Lasso has a bunch of folks.
Or at the very least, it just feels like that exchange just very much feels like a quintessential Ted Lasso Roy exchange.
It does. It does. That you're right about that. It feels quintessential. Yeah, it's not verbatim. Yeah,
it ain't me, Roy.
It ain't me, Roy. All right, let's see. So, let's see. It's the first time in Christmas history. Tom Selleck has ruined Christmas.
Oh, God, I would like to fact check that. Has Tom Selleck played any Christmas villains? I'm not going to fact check it now, but
so let's see. Then we have this gag. We have Higgins here. What do we do?
This was fun. I know nothing about this character, but it was a charming little bit.
Higgins rocks, man. Higgins is the life. Jacob and I love Higgins.
He kind of has some Richard Ayoade energy in this delivery.
Oh, for sure. I mean, basically, Richard Ayoade was more mundane. He'd be this guy. So we have Higgins having drawn the Clark Gable mustache.
Like, where's he gonna do? Where's he gonna go? What's he gonna do? Well, frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn. Oh, actually, I do care, of course. It's just the mustache talking. I just love that as like polite British humor.
As I'm saying, he's the most polite. The second the Ted Lasso, he's the most polite character in the show.
Okay.
Like he's the polite English character. When else, I think you see like rough and tumble locker room guys who are they're English and they're all rather nice. They're all nice boys. But Higgins though he's
Roy Kent a nice boy.
Yes, but yes and no. Yes, that he has a little. It's adorable. Tiki. Roy Kent has this niece that he's pretty much the adoptive father of.
Oh no!
And he's so darn nice to her all the time. Like,
I'm not gonna lie, Dragon. If anything's gonna get me to watch this show, it's definitely Roy Kent.
Seriously, you'd go gaga for Roy Kent. We all do. He's also, you know what? Here's the best comparison to Roy Kent. So Roy Kent, I'm convinced still, and I can't prove it, but I'm convinced that Roy Kent is an homage to the real life football player, Vinnie Jones.
Oh no! Oh, I
So
could
he's
totally see
essentially
that. I could
that's
totally
the thing.
see
He's
that.
essentially Vinny Jones. It's the best way I
Uh-huh.
could sum him up, which is why I
Oh
say he's
man.
essentially Ted Lasso's version of Vinny Jones.
Sort
Anyway,
of thing.
as I say, he does that sort of thing all the time.
Oh god.
Like, no, it's no thing.
Jesus.
It's like, why are you crying? Are you dying? Anyway, so let's see. Um, okay, sorry. So after that, we have Ted. He's on the Zoom call with his friends here and basically expositing the moral. This kind of classic Ted Lasso sort of thing. They do this in live action
Well,
here.
this kind of threw me off a little bit because he's like apologizing for being a Grinch, and
A cis
also
white.
we have a stupid the whole cis white male version of the Grinch. Like, it is funny to acknowledge that the Grinch and Ebenezer Scrooge are basically the same character. But I guess what, like, to me, he didn't really have a temper tantrum at all. So it's like,
No, that's just Ted being
so the
overly.
gag is just that he's like just super overly polite.
Yeah, that's the thing. So Ted's just like, oh, Ted, he's being too hard on us. He's like, say, oh, I'm sorry, guys. It was like, no, Ted, you weren't a Scrooge at all. So yeah, we have the Scrooge subversion.
I guess so. Yes, yes.
It's because it's literally called out in the episode, like, oh, he wasn't a Scrooge
That
at
is
all.
funny. That is funny that Ted, if anyone in the episode is a Scrooge, it is probably technically him.
Yep,
But like the most minuscule Scrooge ever.
exactly. So he's saying, not having a stash isn't the end of the world. And then we have our moral, and this is what I meant. This is classic Ted Lasso here. It's not about making Christmas perfect for the people you love. It's the people you love that make Christmas perfect. Holiday moral trope. So then we have the stash. The stash is back.
Just magically materializes.
Yeah. Hot dog eggnog. He's got.
Would
He's
you
got.
would you chalk that up as a holiday miracle trope?
Yeah, I would.
All right.
All right, so hot dog, eggnog, the stash is back. Everyone's like, yeah, hooray. And Roy Kent's going back to Sexy Christmas, which is a thing, by the way, in the show.
Oh, I believe it. Oh God.
Yeah, he and Keeley, so in the Christmas episode that would have been paired with this one, he and Keeley wants to do Sexy Christmas, but then, the niece has an issue that Roy Kent drops everything. Okay, we gotta fix this.
Oh, good for him.
Yeah, it's delightful too. It's really nice, and actually, Tiki, I won't spoil it for you, but the Roy Kent story in that Christmas episode has a reference to something you would love in it, a
Oh,
Christmas
nice, nice.
reference. Anyway, so let's see. So Henry calls. He says, "Dad, you look great." He says, "Oh yeah, I just believe it. I just shaved." All right, so then we have our fourth wall moment here. He kind of puts the call on hold and he turns to us, the audience, saying, "Have a perfect Christmas," or, well, I mean, have an imperfect Christmas. Yeah, you know what you're going for. You saw the moral.
You see the moral we're going for here, right?
Yeah, it's snowing in my apartment. So again, we have like the fourth wall season's greetings, which we've had in like the honeymooners and stuff before. Like at the end, we're just kind of addressing the audience, wishing a Merry Christmas, and we have snow indoors.
Yep.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, before we do the tropes and final thoughts, do you want to, well, I guess final thoughts for this one, and then maybe we should just go through our lineup since it's the finale?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, final thoughts here. I mean, Dragon, I don't mean to be, I like this for what it is. I don't know. I feel like you kind of have to know these characters, get the most out of this, and I just don't. So, outside of it being a good kind of like advertisement for Roy Kent, I didn't really get a ton out of this personally, but for what it is, it's fine. I just feel like I'm just not really the audience for it.
At least not yet, hopefully. Yeah, well, look, again, I think it's as a companion piece, perhaps more so. Again, you don't really even need to see the Christmas episode, but just knowing the show, yeah, yes, in that sense, companion piece. Look, I find it rather cute. I find it cute and delightful, and again, maybe because deep down it takes back to the Home Improvement episode where they did something kind of similar to this, but I don't know. I found it. I find it kind of cute and digestible, and just kind of like a simple, like we take like an icon of Ted Lasso that we kind of poke fun at occasionally, but we actually went full tilt. He lost the mustache. The mustache is gone, and look at all of our characters in stop motion form. We give them each like a little bit of a gag there, which is kind of nice. And I don't know, it seems nice and in the holiday spirit, and also I don't know, it just kind of works for me.
All right. So I guess let's go over our selections really quick.
All right. Well, let's talk about our first. Let's talk about our first episode, Tiki, the Full House, very first Christmas.
Yeah, honestly, Dragon, I'm not going to lie. I think Full House kind of cast a big shadow over the whole rest of the lineup. That we really started strong there.
Yeah, we went back and forth on whether to open or end on Full House, and
honestly, looking back on it, I think we might have. I think closing on it might have been better.
Yeah, it's been a terrible year.
No, it hasn't.
Yeah.
All right. Love, Death, and Robots.
Of course, I found this to be quite inventive, and I've been dying to get to this one. We finally have, so I'm glad.
Yeah, no, I mean, like unlike Ted Lasso, I really didn't need to watch the rest of the show to get this because obviously it's an anthology, and yeah, I mean, I liked it quite a bit. I mean, it's very much kind of like Guillermo del Toro's fucked up version of Christmas, except it's not technically Del Toro, but
yeah. There in spirit.
It's very much in that vein. I just what I love about it is, again, I feel like we kind of like talked till we were blue in the face about it, but I really do love how it basically like every detail about it is both disturbing and also works as a legit explanation for Santa.
All right, then we have Monk. Mr. Monk meets his dad. I mean, what did you think? Come on, what did you think of this one?
That one's been growing on me, honestly. I didn't really. I wasn't over the moon about it when I first watched it. I like it a bit more now. Plus, it did get me into the good cop.
Yep. No, we haven't gotten you to watch the Good Doctor, but we got you to watch the Good Cop.
Well, I'm not going to watch the Good Doctor.
I know. I'm just saying. I'm making a good pun, Tiki.
I know. But Dragon.
Yeah.
I am a surgeon! You haven't seen that meme?
Not really.
Okay, it's a Good Doctor meme. I apologize. I am a surgeon! All right.
Okay.
Anyway,
let's see. So after The Simpsons, Bobby, it's cold outside.
Yeah, I don't know, Dragon. I think this is kind of like this is sort of like my Monk, where it's like I just really enjoyed this just because of I feel like the characters were pretty in character, like more than they usually are this deep into the show. I think Homer had some particularly really funny moments. I really like the Burns subplot. Honestly, I think the Sideshow Bob stuff was kind of the stuff that was good, but not great. And of course, it had very awkward ending.
So I'm saying, for me, it wasn't Sideshow Bob that was a problem for me. It was just the third act because we had so many endings and we just kind of deflated. Things just kind of deflated out of it by the third act.
Fair enough.
I think we should have centered it more on Sideshow Bob.
Well, I guess I'm thinking he's the problem just because, like, I don't really think we need any of the development with that one character, and who I'm still pretty sure that one character was like a holdover from his last episode. I'm pretty sure. So she just kind of muddies the waters a little bit. If she was just not in it, I think it would flow better.
Muddying the waters? All right. Then we have our penultimate, which was Arrow 3 Ghost.
Yeah, which I want to kind of like, honestly, Dragon, I did enjoy it, like, as an Arrow episode. I mean, like, I don't, obviously, I don't think I got as much. I don't think I got as much out of it as I could have if I was actually familiar with the characters and everything. But honestly, like, it was a fun enough time. Let me rephrase that. I really did enjoy the Barry Allen stuff that I got out of it. Like, the Barry Allen stuff was the connective tissue between that and watching the Scientist episode as well. it really was cool. To see Barry Allen's kind of like entry point into the universe, that I enjoyed. That I got some good takeaways from. That being said, yeah, it's really like it's probably the least Christmas heavy episode that we've ever covered.
Yeah, possibly. And then, of course, the Ted Lasso, the missing Christmas mustache.
Yeah, like I said, I just think I would
Yeah.
have gotten a little bit more out of it if I would have actually known the characters more.
All right.
Okay, tropes.
Okay.
Oh, and also, of course, thank you to Richard's victims. Also, Dragon, really quick, let me just go through some of these last Richard's victims comments. Says Ted Lasso without his mustache is like Arrow without Christmas tropes. Wait. He says it's a 4-minute short based on the intro of an episode, Tiki. Have some mercy. I will never give it mercy. Scrooge is the better Grinch. I'm not sure if I agree with that. I don't know. I'm more of a Grinch fan myself. I guess Scrooge is kind of like the character that you can insert into more situations.
Yeah, but he's not green, though.
He's Roy Kent enough. Indeed. Okay. Started strong and Full House don't work well together. I'm sorry. I genuinely love that Full House episode. Watch House instead. It's better than The Good Doctor, anyways. I've seen my fair few episodes of House back when it was originally airing. I haven't sat down and watched a full season or anything, but I've seen episodes. Are there Christmas episodes of House? Because I imagine he would make a really damn good Scrooge.
I can only assume, but I've never watched the show, Tiki, so I have no idea.
Might be something to look into for the future. Anyways, tropes.
Ojuma, let's see. Well, let's see. Okay, so we have our Christmas opening, which again kind of gives birth to the whole special.
Yep. Christmas party at the office, Christmas decorations, Christmas tree,
Christmas goodbyes,
the little
Christmas
ribbon
hats,
loop things that you mentioned.
chains.
Holiday censorship.
Yep. We have a festive it's festive like Christmas, a little Christmas mustache trap.
Yes.
Just basically it's a festive box, so it's a little festive wrapping.
I would say the Zoom call is kind of a little play on the "I'll be home for Christmas" trope.
Sure. We have Home Alone. We have a Home Alone reference.
Sure.
Let's see. We have the Christmas dilemma. It's kind of paired with the "I'll be home for Christmas." I just mean it's the literal mustache dilemma. So there's a dilemma around the holidays. Let's see. I guess Christmas community, like everyone banding together to help out someone in need during the holidays.
Sure.
Let's see. We have the Christmas moral.
Mm.
Sure. Let's see.
The mustache growing back being a Christmas miracle.
Yep, just Rankin Bass in general.
Yeah, of course.
Should probably get that in there somewhere. And it's snowing inside. They're snowing indoors.
All right, there we go. I think we covered it.
Tiki, we've reached the end of the rainbow, my friend. The end of the red and green rainbow in this case. I tell you, Tiki, it's been 10 long years, and I'm amazed that between the two of us, we still don't have a name for this process of what the heck we've been doing all this time. We've been sitting down with these specials, breaking them down intensely, as if it were under like a microscope, one could say, as if we were putting it under something and we were zooming in on it and just breaking it down piece by piece, all the tinsel, all the Christmas bulbs, all the whatever that leafy thing is that you hang and people kiss under. It just feels like we're just we looked at everything. We put snow under glass. We've examined it. We've talked about it till we're not just blue in the face, but we're red and green in the face, man. And it just feels like we're still nowhere near where we need to be after all this time, and just figuring out what the heck to call this process. I mean, it's so fun each and every year talking about these tropes and talking about what makes us all warm and fuzzy, even in the blistering heat of July. We want to think about something that keeps us cool and happy, which usually is around Christmas. But if only we could kind of give a label we could put on a bumper sticker, put on T-shirts or something. We could like say, "Hey, folks, let's like shout out your favorite podcast title of ours," and they would shout it out, loud for all to hear, and to put us in a festive seasonal mood. Not seasonal shenanigans. That's a good name, and that's taken. We can't just use that again. As much as I would desperately like to right now, we can't. We need something catchy. We need something dramatic. We need something going to shake people out of like a holiday malaise of like, it's so hot. Why can't it be Christmas? We need something. Tiki, I'm just bereft. I'm just my soul has dissipated the oils out of the lantern. I got nothing. I got bubkiss. I'm just sitting back and I'm just watching all of our hard work go down the toilet as if someone hit RM star. I got nothing, man. I don't know what the heck we're gonna do. I'm falling on my sword here. Tiki, I mean, here we are. We just cover a little bit of Ted Lasso, which is roughly 4 minutes of tropes. I wish we had a title. I just really do. I really wish we had something that we could call this. Something snazzy, something jazzy. You have any ideas?
Oh, what about putting the mistletoe underneath the microscope?
Tiki, you genius! You got it.
Next year on Christmas in July.
Fa la la la
La la
la
la la
la
la la
la.
la. It's just not me, Roy.